Hello, loves. This is Finn Graves, and today I'm going to tell you the story of the Nine Muses. The Nine Muses are part of Greek mythology. It is commonly believed that there were originally three muses who were the daughters of Gaia and Uranus. The three muses were Melite, who was the muse of practice and meditation, Iade, who was the muse of song or voice, and Nemi, which is sometimes said to be the shortened form of the name Mnemosyne, although other sources indicate these are separate deities, who is the muse of memory. Of these original three muses, Mnemosyne was said to have had 9 daughters by the god Zeus. In some stories, this was a result of Zeus lying with Mnemosyne over 9 consecutive nights, and these daughters were known as the Nine Muses. It is believed that the Nine Muses did not originally have specific domains, but provided inspiration for all poetic pursuits, and it was as a result of artistic representations of the Muses, particularly in sculptures, that each one was depicted with a different emblem in order to differentiate between one another, and it was from these representations that their domains were later defined. Calliope, who is the most familiar and the eldest and highest ranking or most superior of the Nine Muses, her name means beautiful voice or fair voice, and appears as a mediator in a story about an argument between Aphrodite and Persephone over possession of Adonis, where she decided that time with Adonis would be shared between the two suitors, as well as allowing Adonis some time to himself. How compassionate of her. Calliope is the patron of epic or heroic poetry and is usually depicted with a writing tablet and stylus. Calliope has been partnered in different stories with the war god Ares, with whom she had 4 sons, Mygadon, Adonis, Beaston, and Odomantus, who were the founders of the Thracian tribes known as the Mygons, Eridons, Beastones, and Odomantes, respectively, and also had 2 other famous sons, Orpheus and Linnaeus, although it is not clear as to whether these were by Apollo or by the king Ogyges of Thrace. And in some cases, Linnaeus is said to be the daughter of Calliope's sister, Urania. Cleo means the proclaimer. She is the muse of history and is usually seen with a parchment scroll or a set of tablets. Cleo is credited with introducing the Phoenician alphabet to Greece and had 1 son, Hyacinth, with Perseus, the king of Pieria. Cleo is also the name of my puppy, though her full name is Cleopatra. Erito is the muse of lyric or love poetry. Her name is derived from the Greek word eros and means desired or lovely. In art, she is depicted with a kithiron, which is a member of the lyre family and which Erito invented, but also sometimes with a wreath of roses or a love bow and arrow, as is carried by Eros, who is also known as Cupid. Euterpe, this muse means the giver of delight or rejoicing well, and she is the muse of music. Her symbol is the flute, and she is credited as the inventor of the aulos, or double flute. According to Homer's Iliad, Euterpe became pregnant by the river god Strymon and bore a son, Rheseus. Melpomene is the muse of tragedy, and as such is typically shown with a theatrical tragedy mask, although sometimes also carries a bat, club, or sword, and wearing corthanus, which were boots traditionally worn by actors, and a garland or crown of cypress. Her name means the songstress. Polyhymene means the one of many hymns, and she is the muse of sacred poetry, or divine hymns, and sometimes also of geometry, mime, agriculture, and meditation. She is usually shown with a serious and pensive expression, and often wears a veil. Terpsichore is the muse of dancing, and is usually holding a lyre, while either dancing herself or while sitting down, while others dancing to the music from her lyre. She was mother to the sirens by the river god Achelius. Thulia is the muse of comedy and idyllic poetry, and her name means flourishing. She usually carries a theatrical comedy mask, although may also be shown with a shepherd's staff or a wreath of ivy. Urania, or Aurania, means heavenly. She is the muse of astrology, and her symbols are a globe and a compass. She is sometimes listed as the mother of Linnaeus, from a union with Apollo. As with most deities, the muses can be seen as archetypes. There are many references to the muses being able both to provide the gift of inspiration as well as being able to take it away. I think one of the things that's most important in artistic inspiration is finding things that create inspiration for us. Now, as artists, we're capable of creating inspiration from almost anything. But that relationship, that specific relationship between a muse and an artist, in my opinion, is a precious and cherished one. And right now, in this piece, one of the things that I'm working with is painting from someone who was a muse for me for years and years and years. And I think that that is something that's pretty incredible. Calliope is one of the few muses that I was familiar with before I began to do research on this, because I'm a total freaking geek, and I got to watch Xena, and Calliope is definitely in there, along with Calypso. I really enjoyed the ridiculous mythology that came along with the queer undertones of the Xena series. So yeah, I enjoyed telling you about the muses, and I hope that you liked it as well while you got to watch me work on this watercolor piece. This is on Arches paper with the Jane Davenport watercolors. My buddy Benjamin, who's another tattoo artist at the tattoo shop that I work at, Apollo Tattoo in Vancouver, Washington, he actually gave me the watercolor pieces. And I've been dying to try this watercolor paper for a really long time. So it was a really fun experiment. It turned out pretty good, in my opinion. And you learned a little bit about the muses. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this and you want to hear more historical concepts about muses in Greek mythology, or you want to hear different variations of story, feel free to hit the subscribe button and leave a comment. Thank you.